What's going on today, YouTube? My name is Spencer and welcome to a brand new video. Now, in my last video, I took a look at some of my older art, and in that video, we had this drawing right here. This was my Spider-Sona back in 2019. Now, for those who don't know, a Spider-Sona is basically when you design yourself as a Spider-Man or Spider-Woman. And while I think this design is actually kind of cool, I don't think people are going to be looking at it and say, wow, this looks like the YouTuber Spencer Collins art, which you should totally be subscribed to. So anyways, in this video, I'm going to be redrawing my old Spider-Sona, and then I'm also going to be redesigning it and making a new Spider-Sona for me. But with that all out of the way, let's get right into the video. So with the redraw, I wanted to make the pose similar to the original, but I also wanted to make it feel a bit more dynamic. I feel like the pose in the original could have felt a bit more fluent, and I think I've gotten a lot better at drawing dynamic poses since then. I started to realize this pose wasn't quite working how I thought it would, so I'm just starting to draw over that one, and I think the pose started to kind of work. Sometimes with art, you gotta just keep trying things until something finally sticks. Get it? Sticks, like Spider-Man. Anyways, I think the pose is starting to finally come together now. I'm gonna just keep drawing over it and keep refining it until I'm ready to finally draw the suit over that. Now we're actually drawing the Spidey suit, and I'm keeping the design very similar to the original. Besides a few things, like I'm putting more thought and detail into the shoes, just some quality of life upgrades. Now we're on to the inking, and when I'm inking a drawing, I like to have some variety in my line weight. I like to make outside lines thicker than the inside lines, and I also like to make things closer to the perspective have thicker line weight, like I did with his hand shooting the web. And the hand further back has some thinner line weight. It just helps add some depth to the piece. Now we're just finishing up the inking, and now we're moving on to the colors. So now we're on to the coloring, and so I just start with adding a flat layer of all the colors in each spot, and I'm keeping the colors similar to the original. Again, this is just the redraw. Later I'll be doing the redesign, so stay tuned for that. And there we have our Spider-Sona redraw, but now it's time to redesign it. Anytime I'm ever designing a character or anything like that, I like to just start with some rough sketches on paper to kind of get those creative juices flowing. It also helps me to see which ideas work and which ones don't. You never really know if something's gonna work until you try it. Sometimes I think something will look super cool, but then I try it and it doesn't quite work out. The same could be said for the opposite too. You might think something is a terrible idea, but then you try it and then it actually works out pretty well. With this sketch, I wanted to make a barista-inspired Spider-Man. For those who don't know, I'm actually a really big coffee guy, and so I thought it'd be cool to try to make a design reflecting that. I even drew an apron on him, but I don't think this design worked out super well, so I am moving on to a different design now. I know some of you guys really wanted to see Spider-Man swinging around in an apron, but I won't be doing that, unfortunately. This design I'm working on here is a bit more basic, but I was finally starting to have an idea of what my final design will look like. So I haven't quite found a final design that I'm set on yet. So I'm going to take bits and pieces from my design so far, and I'm going to use that in my final drawing. So let's do this. Along with the design, I also wanted the pose to reflect my personality as well. I was kind of going for like a fun, lighthearted sort of pose. And for the design, I was set on him wearing flannel because I like wearing flannel. And I also wanted my hair sticking out of my mask, kind of like Invincible, but you'll see that later. Now I'm actually drawing the suit, and this design is pretty simple, but I think it does a better job reflecting my personality now than the previous Spider-Sona design. A lot of this is just stuff I wear in real life, like the flannel jacket and the shoes, and I also wanted to make the eyes a bit rounder to make it seem a bit more friendly, sorta. Here I'm just drawing over my sketch again to make it a bit more refined, kind of like I did with my last drawing. You've probably seen me flipping the canvas a few times, and this is just to give me like a fresh perspective to see if anything looks wrong. It's always good to flip the canvas around with any drawing. Again, it just helps you catch those mistakes that you probably didn't notice before. I always doom myself anytime I draw flannel, because even though I think it looks cool, it's kind of a pain to draw sometimes because there's just so many squares to draw, but it's definitely worth it because I think it looks good in the end. On to the colors. I made my suit yellow, first of all because I thought it would look good with the flannel, and I also associate the color yellow with joy and optimism, and those are two traits that I'd like to say I have. Now I'm just adding a simple little background, and here is my Spider-Sona. Well, that's all I have for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and while you're at it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Peace out.